everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. I am Meg and Happy New Year. So today my video is all about 5 top favorite pieces of mine from 2021, and I am showing it in a format that is short processes of each piece. Now the second piece is my absolute favorite, but for some reason I didn't get all the footage for the process. So if you want to see the whole video of any of the pieces in this one, then you can check out the whole process on my YouTube channel and you can see each video on its own. So let's get started. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Here is the first piece of my top 5. This one is a French provincial style and it is so pretty, but it definitely needed a makeover. I scuff sanded the entire piece and cleaned it, as not shown in here because remember I am showing quick processes of each of my favorite, but remember you can see the entire videos on my YouTube channel. I will put the links above. So I first, like I said, scuff sanded and cleaned it and then primed with my Wagner sprayer. Once I did 2 coats of the primer, I then sprayed the color Elegance by Country Chic paint. I did about 2 to 3 coats of this color as well. And I sanded in between each coat with 400 grit sandpaper. To spruce up the sides of the drawers, I used a Redesign With Prima tissue paper, and this was my favorite part of this piece. I have many videos on how to apply tissue paper to drawer sides or surfaces, and you can check that out again on the whole process of this piece on my YouTube channel. I added a stencil on the sides of this piece and I think that really made it so much better, and I added it on the front as well in certain areas, and this is what the entire piece looks like. So again, like I said before, the entire process for this piece is on my YouTube channel, and you can see how I did the top and how I did everything else to make this piece look so good. On to the second piece. When I picked this piece up, it was in my van. It looked great. I absolutely loved it. And then I put it into the van and got it out and the whole thing fell apart. You can see this one also on my YouTube channel, the full process and how I put it all back together. I added tissue paper and a transfer and sanded down to raw wood halfway up the dresser, and this is what it looks like. This piece was actually bought for HGTV, Ontario, Canada's farmhouse facelift show, which will be airing this spring, and I'm really excited to see it. I would say this piece is my #1. Now, I do have the full process of that one all on my YouTube channel. This is the next one. I love how this one turned out. It needed a lot of wood filler for the veneer, and I primed and painted and added tissue paper to the front. I even painted it in a beautiful bright yellow called Yellow Wellies. I kept the original hardware and it just looks so beautiful. I absolutely loved this one. I definitely think it was the color and the paper. Again, the whole process will be on my YouTube channel and I will put the link above. Next up is this cute little piece, and this one was for the Halloween challenge that I did in October, and I just love how this one turned out. So first of all, I took off the hardware, which I was definitely keeping. The hardware was so beautiful. It was solid wood and original. I sanded the top to raw wood so that I could use a glaze stain on top to match the rest of the idea that I was going for. I cleaned with Crud Cutter, making sure I got all of the dirt off and the rest leftover sanding dust that I did. And then for the top, as you can see, it was raw wood. I cleaned all of the dust off and then used a mix of paint and glaze from Country Chic paint onto the surface to act like a stain. And you can see this entire process for the Halloween challenge that I did on my YouTube channel, and I'll put the link above. I then painted this piece in Mango Paint and Ursula and brush painted it on. And I did about 2 to 3 coats of the paint. Once I sanded down the handles to raw wood as well, which was kind of tricky, and you can check that out on the full process video, I used a sponge to also use the paint and glaze mix to stain the handles. I then painted the mirror, about 3 coats of paint, and cleaned the glass so that it was nice and clear and shiny. And this is what it's looking like so far. I placed the handles back on and sealed the entire piece, and I even added some beautiful tissue paper to the drawer sides, which you can again see on the video. It looks absolutely beautiful, and I would say this is definitely my top 5. So last of all, this piece, it's a beautiful antique piece. I love the legs, loved the look of it, but it definitely needed some work. It had a lot of peeling veneer, which I filled in with wood filler. I scuff sanded this entire piece and cleaned it really well. Once it was all dry, I then primed with Berne primer. Now this is the piece where I had completely did a turnaround and started using a primer that was absolutely amazing against stubborn bleed through. And I went to Lowe's and did my research, and I found Kiltz Restoration primer. It's a water-based primer, but it acts like an oil-based primer. As you can see here, it just looks amazing, and it gave a really good smooth finish once sanded. I used a cloth to dust off all of the dust, and you can see in the full process original video how the bleed through looked with the Berne primer, and then how it looks with the Kiltz Restoration primer. I did another coat of the primer, making sure that I got all areas, as I didn't want any more bleed through coming through. Once that was dried, I sanded again in between coats and started on the paint. As you can see there on the front, I'd already sprayed the front, and now I'm spraying the sides. This is a beautiful color by Country Chic Paint called Driftwood. I then did a wash in a beige paint color, so it's a paint wash on top of the raw wood. That way when I go to seal it, it doesn't turn orange. I then sprayed the entire piece with Country Chic Paint's clear coat, and I did about 2 coats of the top coat. I added the hardware, and I actually kept the original hardware and added tissue paper to the outsides of the drawers. And again, you can see that whole process on how to add the tissue paper to the drawer sides on the original video in the link above. I will also put all of the links in my description. And here is what this piece looked like. It sold right away, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite, and I'll see you next week on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Take care and have a wonderful weekend.